Hello everyone and welcome back to NovaLogos Audio English as we continue our journey through Series 3, Portraits of Faith, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. In our first chapter, we looked into the mirror of Adam and Eve and saw our own struggle with freedom and shame. Today, we meet a man who defines what it means to stand firm when the foundations of the world are shaking. Welcome to the story of Noah. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever felt like you were the only one trying to live with integrity? Have you ever felt the sting of being called foolish because you were working toward a promise that no one else could see? Noah lived in a world that had lost its way, a world filled with violence and noise. Yet, in the middle of that chaos, he heard a single divine whisper and began to build. Today, let's explore how Noah's shadow of loneliness was overcome by his rhythm of faith, and how we too can build an ark of peace in our own stormy times. Section 1. The Rhythm of the Walk. Before the great flood, and long before the first plank of the ark was laid, there was a walk. The book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 9, gives us the blueprint of Noah's character in a single, profound sentence. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Notice the word walked. Walking is not a sprint. It is a slow, rhythmic, and consistent movement. While the world around him was rushing towards self-destruction, Noah maintained a different pace. He didn't run ahead in pride, nor did he lag behind in doubt. He walked with God. Righteousness for Noah wasn't about being a superhero. It was about being a companion to the Creator in every small step of his daily life. Reflection. In our fast-paced, high-pressure world, we often try to sprint through our spiritual life or rush towards success. Noah reminds us that the most powerful thing you can do is simply stay in step with the Master. Are you walking with him today, or are you trying to outrun his timing? Section 2. The Shadow, the Weight of the Ark. Noah's faith was not a sudden burst of emotion. It was a labor of decades. Imagine the physical exhaustion of cutting cypress wood, and the mental strain of following complex, divinely inspired blueprints. But perhaps the heaviest weight was the social shadow, the mockery of his neighbors. From Genesis, chapter 6, verse 22, we see his quiet, steady response. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. Noah's shadow was likely the weight of uncertainty. There had never been a flood before. The sky was clear, and the ground was dry. Every strike of his hammer was a declaration of faith in a word that hadn't yet been fulfilled. Faith, as Noah shows us, is the decision to keep building the ark, even when there isn't a single cloud in the sky. Mirroring our lives. We all have arks we are called to build, perhaps a dream that seems impossible, a commitment to a difficult virtue, or a long-term goal that others find laughable. Like Noah, we face the unbuilt shadow of the long wait. We feel foolish when the results don't show up immediately. Noah teaches us that our responsibility is not to bring the rain. Our responsibility is simply to be faithful to the hammer and the wood. Section 3. The Light, the Sign of the Bow. The storm eventually came, and the world was washed clean. But the story of Noah does not end with a dark flood. It ends with a brilliant spectrum of light. After the waters receded and the earth was renewed, God spoke a promise of eternal peace. In Genesis, chapter 9, verses 12 and 13, we witness the birth of hope. God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and you and every living creature with you for all ages to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." The Hebrew word for rainbow is the same word used for a war bow. By placing his bow in the clouds, God was symbolically hanging up his weapon. He was promising that his mercy would always have the final word over his judgment. The flood was temporary, but the covenant, the rainbow, is eternal. The light of grace. Every time we see a rainbow, we are reminded that God is the Lord of the storm and the Lord of the new beginning. Noah walked out of the ark not into a ruined world, but into a consecrated world, protected by a bridge of mercy that spans the heavens. Section 4. Bridge to the present, navigating your storm. How can Noah's journey help us stay afloat in the storms of our modern life? 1. Focus on the hammer, not the horizon. Don't get paralyzed by worrying about when the rain will stop or when your efforts will finally pay off. Just do all that God commands for today. Trust the slow process of obedience. 2. Build your ark of silence. In a world of constant noise and online mockery, create a sanctuary where you can hear the Master's voice. Your ark is your interior prayer life. 3. Look for the olive leaf. Even in the middle of a long trial, look for the small signs of grace, the olive leaves, that tell you the water is receding. Hope is a choice to believe that the dry land is coming. Section 5. Language Clinic. Expressing consistency and promise. Let's look at 3 language patterns from Noah's story that can strengthen both your English and your spirit. 1. Blameless among and walked with. These describe Noah's relationship with his environment and with God. Blameless among a group means maintaining integrity despite the influence of those around you. Example, he remained blameless among his competitors by refusing to cheat. Walked with someone suggests a long-term intimate companionship. Spiritual use. We don't just visit God. We are called to walk with Him through every season of life. 2. Commands someone to, and all that. Commanded. These patterns help us express the concept of following directions or a divine will. All that someone commanded emphasizes the completeness of an action. Example, the soldier did all that the captain commanded. Spiritual use. Noah didn't just pick the parts he liked, he did all that was commanded. It highlights that partial obedience is often just a form of self-will. 3. Set something in and made for. These describe the intentional acts of God. Set something in a place means to place something firmly or permanently. Example, she set the diamond in a gold ring. Spiritual use. God set his rainbow in the clouds as a permanent sign. Made for, as we saw in Chapter 1, shows how a provision is specifically tailored for a person or situation. Example: this ark was made for the survival of the faithful. It shows that even in judgment, there is a rescue specifically made for us. Consolidation and review. Key phrases for your journey. 1. Noah walked faithfully with God. This is the ultimate definition of a spiritual life, a continuous journey based on trust. 2. Noah did all that God commanded him. This teaches us that true righteousness is found in total, not selective, obedience. 3. The Lord shut him in. From Genesis chapter 7, verse 16, a powerful image of divine protection. When we step into faith, it is God who secures the door against the storm. 4. I have set my rainbow in the clouds. This represents the sign of the covenant and the end of hostility between heaven and earth. 5. A bridge of mercy. This describes the rainbow's spiritual function, reminding us that God's grace covers everything we go through. 6. For all ages to come. This highlights the permanence of God's promise. His mercy never expires. It is as valid today as it was for Noah. Closing. Trusting the Architect. Thank you for joining us for Chapter 2. Noah reminds us that being alone with God is a position of strength, not weakness. Don't be afraid of the clouds in your life. The architect of the ark is also the Lord of the rainbow, and he is with you in every strike of the hammer. In Chapter 3, we will meet Abraham, the man who was called to leave everything behind and go to an unknown land. We will learn what it means to be a pilgrim of faith and how to trust a promise when you can't yet see the destination. If Noah's story of endurance and the sign of the rainbow have been a blessing to you, please like this video and subscribe to NovaLogos Audio English. Your support helps us keep building this gallery of faith and language together. Hit the notification bell so you can join us for every new chapter. Until we meet again, keep walking faithfully. Goodbye.